Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a super easy one for you for fall that I think you're really going to like. I got these super cute little owls. I've got the pattern in the description below. You can download it, cut it out. If you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Okay, we're going to start with the body, and I've given you the pattern in the description below. You just download it and then just cut it out. Get it cut out, we're going to use 2 layers of fabric and we're just going to pin it straight to the fabric. Now I am using a teddy bear Sherpa. It's a stretchy material. You definitely want to use something that stretches, even a fleece or something like that, but you have to have a fabric that stretches for this project. And now we're going to turn our fabric with facing sides together and we're going to pin it together. That makes it a little bit easier while you're gluing. Now if you can sew, you can just sew this. We're going to start down at the bottom edge and we're going to get as close to the edge as we can with our glue and glue all the way around, and we're going to leave the top part open in one section. But try to make sure that you really do get this glued good because you don't want it popping open once you turn it right side out. And then continue all the way around gluing it, and I'll show you here at the top where we're going to stop. When you get to the points of those ears as well, you want to make sure that you do get those pointed straight up. So get as close to the edge as you can. And then we're going to come around here and we're going to stop about right here on our gluing, and then we're going to go to the other side and leave an opening as well. In order for our owl to stand up, we're going to box the bottom. So open up the bottom seam and then fold the 2 corners in about 1 inch on both sides. And then we are going to glue the 2 flaps on both sides, and then in a little bit we're going to stitch it just to hold it in place. I'm just going to put a pin in there to hold it in place, glue that side, and do the same thing with the opposite side. And then we're going to come in here with some thread and just do some little light stitches just to make sure that it does stay together. This will enable our owl to be able to stand up. And then grab a needle and thread and just do a few little stitches right at the tip here. And then you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. If you got that done, go ahead and turn your owl right side out and take some time to point the ears pointy really good. Stick your finger up in there if you have to have a tool to make them sharp at the tips, but you want to make sure that they do stick out and they are pointy. Okay, next you're going to take a piece of fabric that measures 2 inches wide, and you're just going to make sure that it measures the length of the bottom and it's folded over. And then we're going to glue down both sides and fold it in half. And you could use either side, the furry side or the other side. It doesn't really matter. We're going to put some weighted beads in this just to give it a little bit of weight in the bottom. And I'm just filling it up with some weighted beads that I had all the way to the top, and then I'm going to glue this shut. Make sure that you have enough beads in there to give it some weight. Then you're just going to place it down into the bottom of your little bag and glue it down on both sides. You just need a little bit of glue just to hold it in place. Then comes the polyfill, and you want to make sure that you do stuff this pretty thick. And go ahead and get up into the corners of the little points for the ears. Make sure that you get those full as well. Just make sure that you are adding enough stuffing because it will make a difference whether it stands or not. And then to stitch it up, I'm using a heavy thread. I'm tying it off at the end, and then I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way across, pulling it as tight as I can, and I'm going to add some stuffing as I go. And if you're using the teddy bear Sherpa, go ahead and tie it off right here, because trying to get a knot at the end of your thread big enough that it won't go through there, you're going to have a pretty good knot. And then I'm just going to add some stuffing as I go along just to make sure that I do get it full enough. And then just tie that off and then run your needle through the body of the owl and then just cut that off right at the tip. Next, we're going to take some fabric that measures 11 inches by 8 inches, and this is going to be for his hat. You're going to glue down the 8-inch side, fold the other side over on top of it, and then let that dry. Okay, now that that's dry, you're just going to fold up a cuff that measures 2.5 inches, and just make sure that you get 2.5 inches on both sides. And then go ahead and just glue that straight across on both the front and the back. Turn that right side out, and then we're going to add a cuff that measures about 1 inch. And then you want to glue that down as well. Okay, then we're going to turn it inside out again, and we're going to tie off the top part. And I'm just using a rubber band around the top at first, and then I'm going to tie it off with a string. And just make sure that you tie your string pretty tight, because if your rubber band were to pop, you want to make sure this stays together. For the detail, go ahead and cut out the feet, and I've given you this pattern in the description below. And you're going to cut 2 of each foot out of some felt. Take your pattern again, get you some chipboard or cardboard, and you're going to cut out the feet out of that, and you're going to go in 1/4 of an inch around that pattern. So you're going to cut it smaller than the felt. That way it'll sandwich between them and you won't see it. So come in about 1/4 inch around each one of those feet. Assemble them. We're just going to glue our cardboard down onto one of the little feet and put the other one over the top of it. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other foot. And then glue your other part right over the top of that. Now make sure that you are getting all the way to the edge, because you don't want it flipping up at all. Just make sure it is solid all the way to the edge. To attach our feet, we're just going to put a couple strips of hot glue on the end of it, and then just set them on top and let that dry. For the eyes, you're going to have an outer eye and an inner eye. The one with the darker circle around it is the outer eye, and I'm just cutting this out of some tan colored felt. And I'm going to cut straight across right here, but then I'm going to come outside of the pattern a little bit and cut about 1/8 of an inch around this circle. And then cut the other one out exactly the same. Inner eye, you're going to take the other eye pattern, and we're cutting this out of just some white felt. And you're wanting to cut right on the line on this one. You don't want to cut outside the line like we did the other one. You want to be right on top of that line. And then cut the other one out exactly the same way. Little beak, we're just going to cut that out of the same material that we cut his feet out of, that same color felt. Assemble the eyes, we're just going to glue the white part onto the tan part. And just make sure that it is centered in the center. And this is how you're going to lay it out on your owl to attach it, and we're just going to glue it right to the front. And try to get as close to the edge as you can. Now you can go back in after you get them glued in good and just go ahead and go around them again a little bit. Okay, for the other eye, you want to go ahead and glue it too, and you want to kind of get as close to the other eye as you can. Okay, then for his little beak, we're just going to glue down both corners and down the center by the bottom. His eyes, we're going to take a little 1/2 inch doll eye. I'll give you the link for these. I got these on Amazon. And I'm just going to take an X-Acto knife, poke a hole through the eye, and we're just going to stick these right inside of here. Just kind of twist them in there, and then we're going to put a little bit of glue behind them after we get them in. To attach his hat, we're going to put it right over the corner, over one of his little ears, and we're going to go ahead and pin it in, and then we're going to sew this on. And pull it down as far as you can. And then just take some needle and thread, and we're going to stitch around it. And then we're going to add a little bit of stuffing here in a little bit after we get across the front, and then we're going to add a little bit of stuffing to the back as well. And you want to just add enough stuffing to kind of beef it up a little bit. Just kind of push it right up underneath there, and then after we get it full here, we're going to add a little bit to the back as we go around as well. And then we're going to continue to stitch all the way till we get the hat completely on. Okay, then just go ahead and tie that in a knot and just run it through the back part of the owl and cut that off right there. For his wing, I'm just taking some dark brown felt and I'm just freehanding a wing. Now, I did include the pattern for you in the description below, so you can just use the pattern to cut that out. And I'm just going to attach it right to the back and then go ahead and come around the front, open up the flap, and go ahead and glue that down. Just kind of at an angle. A little bit more life, I'm just taking the tip of a paintbrush and I'm dabbing on just a white paint, and I'm doing the same thing on his beak. I think these turned out super cute. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you do craft fairs, I think these would really be a good craft fair seller. If you like the video, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks. Can you stop for a minute? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you can you stop already? Okay, it's not going to work out. You need some water? Come on. Can you stop for a second? Okay, it ain't going to happen today.